and a word about the hindgut. A very important portion, because from the next class I'll be discussing about the urogenital system, and we've got all that long list of congenital malformations which are asked so many times in the examination. Different ways the same thing has been asked. I'll probably be taking a class immediately after I take an embryology lecture for you to understand things better. So that is my agenda. Right now, we're talking about the hindgut. Now, hindgut is important. Why? Because here is also the origin of the urogenital sinus, which is going to be one of the most important features when we'll be discussing about the reproductive system. All right. So let's. Thank you so much, guys. Just a little word of your, appreciation makes me work even harder for you to get everything to explain you better, because these things are very important concepts. I rushed through those concepts, honestly, when I was preparing for my DNB. Luckily enough, at that time, these things were, not asked in the exam, but that does not make them any, less important. So you have to be thorough with your basics. So, and I'm very happy that, so many things now we get from, certain things are from the net, some of them are from the textbook, some of things have been searched by me from the embryology textbooks, just to make things little easy for you. And at the same time, not give you a whole lot of knowledge, otherwise you'll get confused. So thank you so much, guys. If you're appreciating it, if you're liking it, I'm very, very happy. Now we'll go up to the hindgut, right? So hindgut, what happens is, there is now what I told you. There's a cloacal membrane, there is an allantois, and there is a proper hindgut. So if you can see, this is a small picture of another picture I wanted to show you. See, this is actually what, just appreciate something over here. This is the allantois. Can you see this yellow portion, this allantois? And this another yellow portion, the hindgut. In between them, thank you so much, Neelu. You've just made my day. This portion in between is actually the urorectal septum. I'm sorry, this is the urorectal septum, right over here. And this elevated or elongated or dilated part is actually the cloaca. So what is cloaca? The expanded terminal part of the hindgut, right? It's an endoderm lined chamber. Okay, that's in contact with the surface ectoderm at the cloacal membrane. So there's a cloacal membrane at the end, and just see this picture as well. So over here, if you can see properly, this part, this pinched up portion, this is the allantois over here. This part is the allantois, subtle here. Okay, this part is, the cloaca. This part is the cloaca, and this is also, see, cloaca is actually communicating with two channels. It's communicating with the hindgut proper and also with the allantois, as you can see. Why is it important? I'll tell you. And here you have the urorectal septum. Urorectal septum. This white portion is actually the urorectal septum. Why is it important? I'll tell you. So this membrane is composed of endoderm of the cloaca on the inside and ectoderm of the proctodium on the outside. So this membrane over here, the cloacal membrane, actually has got the endoderm inside and the ectoderm outside. I'll tell you later on. At week 5, the allantois enters the anterior portion of the cloaca, while the hindgut enters the posterior portion. So anyways, I've just spoken about it. This is the anterior portion, the allantois enters here, and the hindgut enters the posterior part of the cloaca. Okay, the cloacal membrane. Allantois, I told you what it is. It's a tube of endoderm that grows out of the early yolk sac, right? And it finally forms the hindgut portion of it. A layer of mesoderm, the urorectal septum, is now separating the region between the allantois and the hindgut, right? Can you see this white part? It's separating the allantois from the hindgut, correct? You are with me till here? Now, this urorectal septum moves closer to the cloacal membrane slowly and slowly. This urorectal septum is moving closer to the cloacal membrane, and in the process, it does what? It differentiates the allantois and the hindgut. Okay, so the clear-cut separation now between the allantois, okay, and the hindgut. Allantois tract finally forms the urogenital, region, urogenital system, and the hindgut forms the hindgut. Okay, forms the anal canal, rectum proper. Okay, so by the end of 5th, 7th week, there's a breakdown of the cloacal membrane, creates the anal opening of the hindgut, and the ventral opening is there for the urogenital sinus. Okay, the tip of the urorectal septum that forms the perineal body. So over here, it's very, very understandable that once this urorectal septum, it kind of meets the cloacal membrane, these two systems are separated out. These two systems are separated out. This allantois and the related structures finally form the urogenital region, and this posterior part, it forms the anal region, rectum, and whatever anal canal, and in between what you get, the perineal body, because that's actually what it is in the present day, right? So anal canal, the superior 2/3 of the anal canal originate in the endoderm of the hindgut. Of course, we know this by now. And the inferior 1/3, it actually originates from the ectoderm of the proctodium. Remember this. That's the portion of the cloacal membrane where it's fusing with the ectoderm. Okay. So portion of it will be the ectoderm itself. So a junction between these regions delineated by pectinate line. Okay. So there is a pectinate line, also called as the anocutaneous line, white line. And you have the anal columns above, and there is a separate origin below. Okay, so the difference there's a lot of difference between these two portions. They are portions of the same anal canal, embryologically different, and because they're embryologically different, everything changes. The blood supply, the lymphatic supply, the origin, the mucosal lining, everything is different. And I have just the conclusion of the class tonight in the last slide, in which I'll tell you what is actually, why is it important that we're talking about embryology. Because when you do talk about anatomy also of the anal canal, which I think I have recently discussed in one of my anatomy lectures, there's a lot of difference of the same anal canal. Just imagine the same anal canal, a part of it is supplied by different artery, the part of it is supplied by different artery. Part of it is different in embryological origin, part of it is different, and that makes a whole lot of difference in the complete anatomy of an anal canal. So the superior 2/3 above the pectinate line or the white line, they have the origin is endoderm, and below that is ectoderm. The length of above is 25 and below is 13. That's not very important. Length can be different. But the epithelium above is columnar, below is stratified squamous. Okay, arterial supply superiorly is given by the superior. See, the name is same. Don't confuse that. But origin is different. Superiorly is by superior rectal artery, inferior is by inferior rectal artery. But superior rectal artery is actually a continuation of the artery of the hindgut, the inferior mesenteric artery, which is straight supply from the aorta. Superior rectal artery. Okay, whereas the inferior rectal artery is a branch of the internal pudendal artery. Okay, absolutely different. Superior rectal artery coming from inferior mesenteric artery, and here you've got inferior rectal artery, but supplied from the internal pudendal artery, one of the branches of internal pudendal artery. In a similar way, the venous structure, the venous drain is similar. Superior rectal vein, tributary of inferior mesenteric vein, and inferior rectal vein, a tributary of internal pudendal vein, which drains into the internal iliac vein. All right. Lymphatic drainage, inferior mesenteric nodes for the superior part, and superficial inguinal nodes for the inferior 1/3. So that is why the nerve supply is also different. Autonomic nervous supply, nervous system for the superior 2/3 and inferior 1/3 by the inferior rectal nerve. So the inferior rectal nerve causes a painful carcinoma and a painless carcinoma by the superior 2/3, which is supplied by the autonomic nervous system. So with this, guys, we have come to the end of our embryology of CNS and GI tract. If there is any confusion, any doubts which you want to ask me, here's the time. You can ask me. I'll wait for 5 to 10 minutes to finish off with this class. But I hope the important points have been touched upon. You have to just know this much in embryology, nothing more. I have already described more than probably what will be probably asked in the examination. And just by attending this one class live or even seeing this recorded lecture, which I will be putting on for some time to come. And later on, yes, very important, many of you have asked me that if we want to find out the embryology lectures, where do we find them? So they are going to be put in a separate package, separately on my app as well. And otherwise, you will find them in the complete course, which is there, which holds all the lectures that I have taken up till now. Obviously not the workshops. The workshops are separate. Thank you guys so much. If there is any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, that was all about the GI tract and the CNS development embryologically.